Everyone I know.
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 Everyone I know. Welcome to Everyone I Know, the podcast where you argue about the mundane.
What's the name of the podcast name?
Everyone I know. Mushmouth Andy in this house. I'm here with my lovely producer, Brendan.
Hello.
I'm here with my brother, Chris.
What's going on, guys? This episode of Everyone I Know is brought to you by Audible.com. If you want a free audiobook and a trial membership to Audible.com, you go to audibletrial.com/EIK. I am listening to Doug Stanhope's book right now. It's very fucking funny. He's a funny man. He's a dirty boy, though.
Did he teach you how to spell his last name? I have trouble with it.
Nope. You just kind of type it in Google, it comes up the rest.
Very nice.
Yeah. What else? Who else? Actually, so Audible might be paying us.
Ooh.
Which is kind of cool.
Our feud with Audible is over. Thank God.
They're going to send us 15 clams.
Can't wait.
But this podcast is brought to them, people, everybody, by somebody else. Andy, who else is that?
It's also brought to you by the Madison Poorhouse, provider of fine drinks, fine times, and fine beers. If you want to get a free pint token for the Madison Poorhouse, you can comment on our Instagram post with the secret hashtag that we come up with over the course of the episode, which may be Mushmouth Andy.
Hashtag Mushmouth.
Mushmouth Andy MC. Yeah. There's something else going on. Maybe our guest would like to explain to us. Our guest today is the great Dan Paoletti. Hi, Dan.
Hi, how's it going? How to be here. Thank you, Audible. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, Dan?
Sorry, I had some marbles in my gullet.
So you have
was that the setup? Is
that is
that's
totally
the setup.
Okay, yeah. So also, I'm here to promote an event, first and foremost, and secondarily to be a guest. There is a music festival, DIY level music festival that I'm putting together called B-Side Fest, which is a celebration of the B-Side cassette label, of which I'm also a co-founder and co-runner of. Yeah. Just as we sit around this table as a four-piece, so is B-Side, except instead of podcasts or being sponsored by anyone, we just waste money on putting out interesting music that we think is good and deserves a platform. And so we have enough releases now where from October 11, 12, and 13, we're going to put on a festival in Albany, New York at a few different houses, and it's going to be a great time. And there's stand-up and artist vendors, and you can get a 3-day pass for $20, and you can ask me for more details later if you want.
Is there anywhere they could check online to see?
There is a Facebook event, yes.
Okay.
We don't have a website.
Okay.
It's very low-key.
Very cool.
Yes.
I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
I gotta do something.
The Facebook event name is B-Side Fest! ! And
don't forget, it's BEE because it's a B, like Buzz
a bee.
Buzz.
Yes.
You fools. I like the posters for it, by the way.
Thank you.
I think it's a cool design with the
Thank you.
honeycomb
That
stuff
was
on it.
Joel Tirado's design, and then a graphics guy we work with. His name is Elliot Woolworth, who is great. Take all your graphic design work to him. I can get you in touch if you need it.
All right, before we get into it, folks, we're going to do the Old Man Minute. If you're new to the podcast, every week our father listens to this podcast and then responds via email, responding to each podcast. Podcast, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Everybody needs to take a fucking breath.
Everybody relax.
I left my peanut butter in the car.
I'm just excited to have Dan here. Last time he was really funny and cool, and he did callbacks. I remember listening to the episode. I was like, he's remembering shit from earlier. Yeah. It was great. Go ahead.
So in the beginning of most of the emails from our father, he has a little prelude into the first couple topics. This time, we're cutting that one out, old man, so watch what you say. Topic 1, surprise parties. Vader took delight in breaking Chris's balls on his birthday. As she said, the madder the subject gets, the more fun the party is. As you will recall, we did the same thing to Vader on her 40th. Before the party, she wanted to slice my heart out. Good time had by all. Topic 2, Harrison Ford. Do you remember Harrison Ford as Colonel Lucas in Apocalypse Now? That's what I was reading before. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was
He's
in
it for like
Apocalypse
5
Now.
minutes.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Right at the beginning with Extreme Prejudice.
Yes.
That's his line. How about Ken Boyd in Heroes or Barnsby in Force 10 from Navarone? You must remember him as Jack Ryan in Patriot Games. It sounds, Nicole, like my father's a little bit more of a fan than you are.
My dad wants to fuck Harrison Ford better than you.
Well, that just makes him cooler.
It does make him pretty cool. It's 2018.
Yeah.
Point dad.
All great performances, but if I had a single one, his best role would be Han Solo. Topic 3, stealing and cheesing. I went to Utica College and never had a roommate until I married Vader in 1982.
Wait, hold on. Hold the fucking phone. He got to stay in a dorm at college without a roommate, and he did not still
No,
paying off his
he lived
college
with
debt.
he lived with grandma and grandpa.
Oh, okay. Well, those are roommates.
Yeah, I guess so. So I never had the opportunity to rip food off. I will, however, take responsibility for some of your faults. I've always been one to eat condiments right out of the containers. The same is true for peanut butter and cheese. Sadly, you didn't have the chance to apologize to your roommates. Brendan, next time you need to do a colonoscopy prep, just go to the Chinese buffet. It works for me. I think that's the second time he's used that joke, to be honest.
He loves to shit himself after the Chinese buffet. I mean, that's his prerogative.
Love the old man. Some stuff about Alex Jones.
Very cool. Without further ado, we're moving on now to number 1.
So on topic 1 today, I re-listened to your episode that you're on, previous to it, and we did some character work, and I really liked it, a whole bunch.
Was it like Joey Bag of Donuts?
No,
or something
we
like that?
were making up names for interns.
Oh,
It was like wheels and snacks and
Yeah,
shit
right,
like that.
right.
So I'm looking at our like our hits on our podcast or downloads, and they're down a little bit right now. So we gotta maybe break into.
So you called in the big guns.
Exactly. I wanna brainstorm this.
Okay.
How we can hit a new demographic, and I think that's children.
Ah, yes.
So I think we should make a children's show out of the podcast.
Fucking God.
So I only have a couple tertiary ideas, and we can go from there.
Okay.
Mainly, I just want to have one like character that's an anamorphic microphone, and it's Johnny the Mic.
Johnny the Mic.
Johnny the Mic.
You,
Hey,
really, you didn't go with Mikey?
I went with Mikey, but then I thought there'd be Mixer Mikey.
Mikey seems so
Mikey the Mixer.
simple.
Listen, kids need stimulation.
Yeah.
You can't just expect them to just swallow everything, and just be okay with it. You need to challenge them. You got to treat them like adults.
Exactly.
And that's why you don't name the microphone Mike.
Yeah.
They're like, that's too on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm 4.
I'm wondering where I fit into this as the producer, since I'm kind of part of the
Oh yeah, no,
studio,
Are you part of the studio?
basically.
Well, we've got the money from Audible already, so you're either with us or you're going to get left behind.
So a couple other characters I had. Actually, I only have one other character. It was a really busy day at the office today, so I could scribble on a couple things. A windscreen Tommy. That's it.
Windscreen Tom.
Windscreen Tommy.
Windscreen Tommy.
Not Windy?
Windy Wendy. You gotta have a lady
Yeah,
character.
that's true. So yeah, a couple ideas I had to. It would be Nicole would read stories to the children.
Oh, yeah.
About Scotland.
Hopefully not
not
erotic
sexy
fiction.
stories.
Not sexy stories.
Every child's favorite subject matter. The
Scotland.
barren northern United Kingdom
I mean,
landscape.
kids love sheep. They love animals.
So what do you think like the main shtick of the show would be? Would it be like being happy together as your person, or just like hating everybody?
Join us
Well-
on Scott Pod for kids. We're our friends. Tommy the Mic and Johnny the Windscreen Tommy.
Windscreen Tommy.
Windscreen Tommy. Sword dance across the birthplace of golf. Join us as we
We
learn about Scottish history, including
the invention.
golf and train spotting.
It's the national sport.
Don't forget about
Train spotting or golf.
Train spotting.
Yeah.
Good.
Wasn't curling invented in Scotland too?
Yes, it
I
was.
wouldn't be surprised.
Penicillin, also invented in Scotland. The television.
This is not the
know
Scotland cast.
This was a topic once.
Scotland?
true.
If you
Yeah.
recall, Nicole's first topic
it's
was
true.
things invented in Scotland.
Hey, it's me, Johnny the Mic. I just wanted to chime in and say I'm in favor of Scottish separatism. In light of recent developments with the Brexit decision in the United Kingdom, I encourage the Scots to bring the issue to a vote again. And I hope this time that the spirit will guide them into making the correct choice for joining us on the world stage. Back to you guys.
This show sounds great. I'm totally into it.
Okay, we gotta get some animals in there, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some animals.
It has, it
Like a
has
turn, what, like a tern, like a migratory bird. What else they got up there?
They probably. Well, I was gonna
The
say
podcast doesn't have to be like just about Scotland. There just be stories
No.
about Scotland.
Oh, so I've been.
it's
okay.
Nicole's Scotland
I'm,
corner.
I'm
she has a corner.
misrepresenting the whole.
Yeah, come on now. I
It'd
think
definitely be a big part of it, Nicole.
Sorry, Nicole.
It'd definitely be a big part of it, but it's not the main part.
we could dress the cats up like little sheep. That would be very cute.
They hate that.
That's okay. It's not about them. It's just show business. It's about the viewership.
If they want to fucking eat,
yeah. If they want a slice of this pie, if they want $1 out of that Audible money.
Does Audible just? Did I feel like I asked this last time, but did they just sponsor like anything?
yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah, pretty
yeah.
much.
Are they not? It's not about
They do
you
it-
guys. It's just every time I hear a podcast,
I'll tell you.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. The requirements are a rating on iTunes.
Yeah.
like one review.
Pretty much.
Yep, and
So
to
like
get-
you can make like a shell account and go
Yep.
review yourself, and then
If you wanted to, yeah. You'd have to get a bunch of
Well,
Amazon
so you
accounts.
have to actually have a rating on iTunes, and that takes it doesn't take one review. It takes like 4 or 5 reviews.
Okay.
And it's got to be a positive
Yeah,
rating.
yeah.
So you get 4 of your friends to just do it, and that's
Will
how we got
they
it.
will they sponsor B-Side Fest?
I guess so. Hand out
Just
whatchamacallit.
Everything
you
is all
by
just
Audible.
locked in stone. There's nothing on it. And
Well,
it just
for the
says
amount of
sponsored by Audible.
For the amount of shit that we talk about them, like every episode, they really don't check up on stuff. So you could probably just use their likeness.
Yeah,
That's
for
fine.
sure.
They get it. You know, they probably it's like they're hip. They get the whole irony thing. You know?
Yeah.
As long as the name's getting out there.
Well,
Exactly.
Audible is definitely a character on the show.
Oh yeah, there it is. And it's grumpy old
Yeah, yeah.
it's grumpy old man Audible, and he's a miser. He won't,
Yeah,
he won't give
any
away
money.
his money. You know, you say your friends swear they're like, "Oh, I signed up for 3 trials," but no, you don't get those $15.
My girlfriend's been getting mail from the Nielsen Ratings Corporation.
Did you get $5 in the mail?
First of all, it's my girlfriend that's getting the money.
Sorry, I got
She's filling
excited.
she's filling out the ratings. I think she's about to get a 20 back, so that
Nice.
will bring her up
Shit.
to, I believe, 36 total dollars.
Holy shit.
From
Wait,
responding
she
to
gave
these surveys.
They gave her a single. That's pretty good.
The last piece of mail had 4 crisp single dollar bills in it. The
I
first one had
just,
2.
They couldn't just spit for a $5.
Dude, they sent me a 5.
It's the psychological impression of like more bills
Equals-
you know?
yeah.
You're like, oh, my wallet is thick right now.
And I cut myself on these fresh
So
bills.
really, the Nielsen Corporation's throwing money around more liberally than Audible.com.
I like to think that they went to go mail it and they forgot to pay for the postage, so they had to put the 5 in.
They had to get change at the bank. That's why it's so crisp and new. That explains it.
Yeah,
Oh
they
my
sent
God.
a $5 bill to my house. I didn't.
What are you
fill,
doing
I didn't
right?
fill up anything. I think maybe a previous tenant might have had it, and we then spent. Me and Olivia were going out for a walk, and we then spent the entire time like trying so hard not to just go up and check in people's mailboxes and see if there was other $5
That is a
bills.
felony, so it's good that you didn't
Right.
do that.
It was like a $5 bill nearly like led to an entire life of crime.
Yeah, right. Naturally.
Exactly.
You'd have
All
to
he needs is
go-
that one
you'd have
little
to go
push,
on
you
the
know?
run. Yeah,
Exactly.
And you'd wind up in Scotland.
With Tommy the windscreen.
Okay, so we've got
the windscreen.
so far we got what's the fucking Mike's name? James?
It's Johnny the Mike.
Johnny the Mike.
This is why you should keep it simple. It's Mikey, Windy. You don't even have to think about it.
How many
Mixie.
people? How many people do you think Johnny the Mike has whacked?
That's a good question,
Yeah.
Producy.
Producing the human.
Oh yeah, that's got like an Adventure Time flair
Yeah.
to it. And then Brendan has to save the world by making sure that our dumb voices get online at the proper levels.
I'd love to find out how we work to that climax.
I will figure it out.
Time to start a second podcast. Every podcaster's dream.
That's when you know you've made it, is when you make that second podcast
yeah.
to bolster the
We have
first
too
one.
many ideas. They simply can't fit in the first one.
We have like so many fucking offshoot
God.
episode types now.
I wrote a treatment for fucking Pizza Man.
What are we gonna do, Pizza Man? Come
I
on.
don't. I have like 6 pages of shit written for that.
Pizza Man.
This is like a prime example why you need to stimulate people all the time with the creative stuff, or else we'll just fucking make podcasts.
Yeah,
this is
right,
this is a
right.
tumor growing off of our unfulfilled lifestyle.
Yeah. Truly, please save us from podcasts. That's what we were trying to do at B-Side, because that's really give people real world opportunities to express themselves creatively in constructive ways, community building through example. Mouth noises break.
Everybody just takes a little sip.
All right, what's the name of the show?
Okay, the show. Okay, well, it depends on what kind of market you want to reach.
You didn't like Scott Pod?
Scott Pod. People got to know
Scott
it's
Cast.
people's got to.
Oh, it's not a podcast.
It's a TV
It's
show.
a TV show
So
with an
it'd be
anamorphic
Scott
Mike
Pod-
named fucking Tommy the Mike.
It's Scott Pod TV. Super awesome fun time hour. Is it an hour or 15 minutes? What are we trying to get
it's
on? What
15
number?
minutes.
Okay, so we're going for Adult Swim.
No, we're going for like the old school.
Snapchat.
I'm going for
We're
Snapchat.
going for Snapchat.
It's
Yeah.
going to be like a 9 snaps in a row kind of thing. Yeah. That's
I'm
the
into that.
future.
That's what the kids are doing. They're doing
Stop motion with Snapchat.
They're doing that floss dance. They're milli rocking.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
probably not milli rocking anymore. That was a while ago.
Are they still doing the floss dance?
They're still doing the floss
do
dance.
the floss. Yeah, my nieces and nephews all were flossing over the summer when I saw them.
They doing it good. Or
They're doing all
it bad?
those Fortnite dances. Are all I don't know what they're all called, but
We probably need some Fortnite characters.
Yeah,
just to
just
stay
you
relevant.
should do the show in Fortnite.
That's
somehow.
what we should
That's
do.
not
Bad idea.
Really. Yeah,
and that's cheap animation right there too,
right.
because we're using their engine.
Exactly.
And we just have to have somebody with a real steady hand to hold the webcam at the TV so that we can,
Right.
record the
Rather
TV.
than using screen capture software.
I mean, listen,
What do you
We're
think?
an audio thing here, all right, man. We don't know how
we
that
don't know
stuff
how
works.
those tubes work.
What do you
Okay,
think? What do you think, Ducey? Can we get that money from the folks at Audible?
I'd
I'm
love.
gonna get you a Stetson hat, so I can just call you Ducey, and you can answer everything. Yeah.
Well, I reckon that
I
we
just
could
think of Steve Ducey from Fox News.
Steve Ducey, who's that?
Steve Ducey.
He's one of the Bert and Ernie guys that's on like the morning show.
They're,
Fox
all,
and
they're all
Friends?
kind of
The,
Bert and
the
Ernie.
like skinny blonde one.
Okay.
No, that's just you've gotten way less specific.
I was gonna say
It's like every Fox News.
Is that
anchor.
Kellyanne Conway?
The skinny white or the blonde skinny male one.
This is my order at Starbucks now. When you're describing.
All right.
What was the topic?
Kids show.
Kids show.
Shit. Oh, so we're still on.
Yeah, we're still
Oh,
on
okay,
that.
Good.
We're
I
still
thought
on that.
I thought I hijacked that thing.
No, we've come up with it. It's right there in front of us.
So it's a travel show.
It's a travel show about only Scotland.
Right.
They travel from Troy, New York to Scotland.
Right. You
Right.
take a boat from
yeah.
Troy, you get on the fucking Hudson,
Yeah.
and you just travel all the way to
Yeah, they get
Scotland.
into hijinks.
Get into hijinks along the way. Battle sea monsters and Kraken. Wouldn't that be fun?
What's the Kraken's name?
Kraken's name is Joey Kraken.
I was gonna go with Cracky. I don't know what corporate's gonna think of that one.
We're gonna have to run it by legal for sure. I feel like it might encourage kids, smoke crack. It's not the 80s anymore. It's not cool anymore. Did you ever watch the video of Whitney Houston saying that she doesn't smoke crack?
That was very prominently shown on VH1
Yeah.
when I was.
Was that one of those top 100
Yeah.
crazy rock moments that's
Yeah.
hosted by Brett Michaels, if I recall correctly?
Brett Michaels' hair.
Yeah. What's up, Brett Michaels here? Or was it? No, it was Chris Jericho, wasn't it?
Chris Jericho?
Was
No.
it Chris Jericho?
No.
He did some stuff. I mean, he was a wrestler for sure, but then he did definitely end up on VH1.
Damn! Wow, you got this hosting thing down.
Listen, I can't. I'm forbidden from making statements that I can't fully support.
You
I know
should
that
be
he did something.
testifying on behalf of the government.
Hell yeah.
Look, I've done some things. You've done some things. Who can recall, really?
Let's not break each other's balls here, okay?
Specifics we can't really attest to, but the fact that they've been done, whatever they may be, perhaps, but I cannot confirm.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So anyway, Chris Jericho hosted like the 100 craziest rock moments. I'm putting my
Was
chips.
it-
I'm
was
putting
it
my chips on
was it him?
Jericho.
He
Yeah, I
could
think it
totally.
was.
I mean, I can see his
I see
tan
him in his
face.
fucking leather jacket, like walking out from like a weird set of like
Yeah.
there's boxes, and he's kind of like walking
Not a-
around them as he starts to deliver his little spiel about like we've had a crazy list so far. Hi, it's me, wrestling's Chris Jericho. We've had a wild countdown so far. We've seen some incredible and sad moments. Join us now as we start at the middle of our list at number 50, and it's Whitney Houston saying she doesn't.
She doesn't smoke crack.
It was a good time for television,
Well, when Chris Jericho was on TV,
I
or
gotta
just
say that's a
Well, VH1 was just listing.
everything. They were the original.
Like, they were like
BuzzFeed.
writing history. They
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
"When we have the chance to just curate what everyone will think this is what happened."
I mean, honestly, like a lot of my pop culture now, like knowledge from the 80s and 70s are like all I love the shows. And then they tried to do the I love the aughts or whatever.
Did they really?
Yeah,
I
it
wanna
didn't
watch that. I haven't
It
seen
didn't
that.
turn out well.
No?
I don't. I
It's
think
not
that
a
there
great
wasn't
decade.
enough.
I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing to
I
say.
feel like there'd be a lot about millennials.
they're like, well, they were more like the iPod can hold so many songs, and then they'd be like, the new iPod can hold even more songs.
it's essentially the same thing but bigger.
Yeah, it was a very
pretty
incremental.
bad decade overall. I mean,
Yeah.
got 9/11 and the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War and Katrina and
Got to watch Michael Ian Black say that he was sad about 9/11. Got to also then they cut quickly to Flavor Flav. Then they came back to New York Pollard. These are all not real things. I don't know if they did a 9/11 section. I feel like they'd have to, right?
I would
Like-
think so.
as long as it was just Michael Ian Black saying, "I'm sad that 9/11 happened."
I want Chris Jericho as a Muppet in the show.
In the kids
Chris
show.
Jericho Muppet.
Oh, that would be great.
Chrissy.
Chrissy the Jericho. He just gives lists all
Wait,
the time.
what if he read like Bible quotes because his name's Jericho? You know, he's like the
This
ancient.
must be what
Savior.
LA is like. Everyone's just constantly workshopping something, and they're all just high on cocaine.
Talking about how Whitney Houston never smoked crack.
Yeah. And you get high with people, and all you talk about is how to do drugs correctly and incorrectly, and then celebrity gossip that's like extra deep that no one's ever heard before. You know, like, but it's always the same. Like that person. Oh, so it's the same story that everyone always knows. It's like Lady Gaga used to be a normal person, and Quincy Jones killed Aaliyah. You know, just like random. It's always just the same variation of those things.
Well, I think that we've done a great job in this writers' room, and I think that
Yeah.
I'd like to take my per diem now.
I'll get back to you.
Give me a fucking Audible book. Give me an Audible.
I got
book.
plenty of audibles.
What do you
That's all
got?
I
What do you
got.
got on hand? You got Sapiens.
I got what?
Sapiens.
I got Sapiens. I got I don't know. I got Train Spotting actually.
I don't want to listen to that shit.
That's,
I want to read it. It's very hard to read.
the guy that reads the narrative is actually very good.
I feel like it'd be a lot better as an audiobook because the dialect that they put in there is difficult to get through.
You got to like read it out loud to yourself.
On that note, we're moving on now to topic number two.
So the other day, I tweeted, what was it? I think it was, "What's your most controversial classic rock opinion?"
Oh yeah.
And proceeded to spend the next 3 hours fielding like dozens of people saying
You get a lot
"It
of
sucks."
hits on those kind of things.
Well, yeah, that was the whole
Like-
idea. I was like, I need to increase my post engagement. I should do one of these like things someone will quote tweet and then
Right.
And I asked the most terrible question without realizing it, which apparently so. I guess my topic is loosely classic rock, but more specifically, does everyone hate classic rock now, or did they always, or did I just? I don't. I mean, I know I'm out of touch in certain ways,
Yeah.
but this one really feels like it snuck up on me. Like,
Like this cat just did.
right. Well, these cats are renowned for their stealth and agility and
But-
ability to sneak around, whereas
Classic rock opinions.
classic rock
Start
is
notching
quite,
over the
quite the opposite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think that there are definitely classic rock songs that I hear that I still like. Like, I feel like I don't know.
Define classic rock.
So part of the issue
yeah,
ended
that's.
up.
I think that's the big one. People don't want to admit that the stuff they like is classic rock.
This is
because
very pertinent observation. I'm glad we're getting this out of the way early because part of the issue turned out to be that everyone just thought that when I say classic rock, that it just means the radio format version of classic rock.
Okay.
So they're like, they're thinking I'm online being like, so you guys like Motley Crue or what's up?
You back to back rock block.
What do you guys think of Bon Jovi? You know, thoughts,
mean-
feelings. Like I don't expect anybody to have any kind of a well-formed opinion about Bon Jovi. That's like
Unless you're from Jersey, baby.
Chris
They love
Christie
him
likes
out there.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, Bon Jovi. No, it's I think he likes what's his face?
Springsteen?
Springsteen.
No, but Springsteen said that you can't like me.
So now he likes Bon Jovi.
Now he likes Bon
Now he's a
Jovi.
Jovi head.
That's a classic Jersey's tale.
It's a Jersey short story for
Yeah,
you.
that really summed it up.
So is there like a specific like time frame that we're working with here as far as classic rock?
I guess in my mind, it's just a time span like recorded music between like 1964 and the early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Okay. So you would call like 80s rock also
Yeah,
classic rock. Okay.
Yeah. But I guess specifically, I'm kind of addressing the pantheon years.
So we're talking Led Zeppelin.
we're talking. Yeah, that's what it conjures in my mind.
Talking AC/DC.
What do
maybe.
we do when Nickelback is classic rock?
Are they not yet?
I don't think so.
They probably played on the classic rock
It
station
seems
100%.
like they're on the cusp of when time-wise you would start to include them.
Well, because like a lot of people will include Nirvana.
Well,
in
yeah,
that.
but that's because the classic rock radio format has embraced Nirvana.
Yeah. Because it's easy.
Not that I listen to it all the time, but the last time that I did, there's Nirvana songs on it, which makes you think that now things have shifted because the oldies station plays 80s music now.
That's true. Okay.
And so I guess I was referring to a specific period of time, but I don't know are they playing like Pearl Jam on classic rock?
I would not
radio
be
too?
surprised.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
either, but also just
Didn't they just put out an album recently?
Pearl Jam?
Yeah.
See, that should be a disqualifier.
Yeah,
We
I
shouldn't be-
think.
Yeah, I think that you can't be making music anymore.
Be
And
great because it would have ruled out AC/DC through most of the 2000s. Bon Jovi would probably still be on the fence.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think also
Fucking
the
hate Bon
band
Jovi.
members have to hate each other. I think that that's a good
Yeah,
qualifier.
I think if it can't really be an established band still touring, and well, no, it could still be touring. I
I guess the Rolling Stones are still fucking touring.
Right.
Bastards.
It's like,
I'm just old. I don't
Like,
know why I hate them.
yeah,
I hate them too.
yeah.
It's all right. You're not alone.
Okay. I'm glad.
It's a grossly overrated band.
I don't
Which
know.
band? Pearl Jam?
Well,
No, Rolling
yes,
Stones.
I was
but
thinking
also
Pearl Jam for a second
I
because they are overrated.
I agree with you, but I was talking
Say
about
that to Julie, she'll fight you.
Rolling Stones.
Pearl Jam?
Yeah, she loves Pearl Jam.
I feel like I could fight Julie.
Rolling Stones. See, it's hard for me to view the Rolling Stones as overrated because my mom is an obsessive Rolling Stones fan. So I grew up with them. They're like the furniture.
That seems like
So you just got like
you've proven my point.
Yeah, that's maybe true.
So background, that it's like, but I'll go to bat for like the Beatles too, and I feel like people are kind of sick of the Beatles.
Yeah.
I think that the Beach Boys should be considered on equal footing with the Beatles.
I agree.
Oh, that's absolutely. I think
Yeah.
that's come around a lot
Well,
lately.
like recently.
Yeah,
It's
it seemed like
not
there was like a
recently,
lull
but-
for a couple of decades where people kind of forgot how great the Beach Boys were.
Yeah. Well, they didn't. Their legacy has always been sort of mismanaged because of
Brian Wilson.
because of the way that like some of his image and property was represented by different people and sometimes not good people versus how like Mike Love took control of the creative direction of the band, through into the now where there's like sort of two Beach Boys groups now, but there's only one that Mike Love is in charge of that can be the Beach Boys, but Brian's touring around on the Brian material, and whereas the Beatles kind of like had all that stuff down pat more
Yeah.
or less when they broke up,
Right.
because they were already like the most valuable commodity in entertainment ever up to that point.
Right. It wasn't. They had time to kind of figure it out and make sure everything
Right.
was managed so they could sell it to Michael Jackson or whatever.
Right.
Do any of you guys ever have XM radio?
No.
My mom,
So-
our mom has it in the car.
I have XM radio in one of my cars, and XM radio's formatting for all this stuff is super interesting. They have multiple classic stations that cover much more
They
specific
do like the deep
genres.
cuts and stuff.
Yeah, so there's like classic rewind, and then there's classic vinyl. And classic vinyl is like 60s. Classic
Yeah.
rewind is like 70s. Then there's an 80s station. Then you have a 90s station, but you also have a grunge station that is
Yeah.
separate from the 90s station, because the 90s station will play everything from Nirvana to like TLC. But the only thing that's really off is the grunge station will go very late. Like the grunge station will play like
Puddle of Mud.
it won't go that far. I don't think I've ever heard Puddle of Mud on there. Nicole, maybe I don't know if she's ever heard Puddle of Mud on there, but no, it goes to like Blink 182.
That's not grunge.
grunge.
No, they love their life.
This is why I hate the 90s so much. And it gets right back to that mismanagement thing about, like suddenly it was just like alternative was one huge lump of stuff that was like, in many a music executive and consumer's head, I think those things don't seem terribly disparate from each other. I don't know about grunge, but, if your format is like 90s and early 2000s era alternative rock, you got to throw Green Day and Blink-182 in there.
Yeah.
Up front.
You definitely got to have Green Day. I don't think I feel as weird about Green Day being included in that station as I do about Blink-182. And it's like not even like
They were like
early
sister
Blink-182
bands
stuff.
pretty
They're
much,
playing
man.
like 2001 Blink-182 stuff.
Yeah.
And for your early 90s grunge station, that feels a little bit off.
Where are you?
I'm so
sorry. I listen to a lot of
That's
that.
going to be
Cannot
that's going to be
sleep.
classic rock soon.
It is.
Yeah.
That should be. Throw that shit in the trash can.
Well, so yeah, you kind of alluded to it, but like the idea of classic rock kind of is trash.
Is it a dumpster that you throw all
Yeah.
your dad's music into?
Right.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah, but then sometimes you find something that's halfway decent. I guess I don't know.
there was a station here that just stopped doing this format recently. It was 105.7, which I believe now has rebranded as an catch-all alternative thing
It's the
to
new
sort of
alternative
rival,
or whatever.
right,
EQX.
right, to rival that format. But before that, for 6 months or so, they were like they were the Rewind channel, and they only did 90s stuff, but they did it in a way where it was a swath across all those different genres. So there, you could go on there and you could hear those sort of like novelty hits, like "Steal My Sunshine"
Okay.
or LFO,
Okay.
and that type of thing.
You
Or you
maybe
could-
get a little bit of that's probably
Or
2000.
they played a lot of house music too, like big
Okay.
house hits that from the early 90s,
Okay.
like stuff that's like jock jams but a little deeper below that.
Yeah,
kind of
like-
thing, when you start
like
to
the
get
Marky
into the
Mark,
real-
Good Vibrations.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Anything that had that sample of the woman who sang on all those songs.
Yeah.
His name escapes me. Yeah, exactly. Right. Do 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 do.
Yeah.
Do do.
I mean, I think that I don't know. I think that when you pull music together, time frame is not always the greatest thing, because I think that there's more like a vibe. I think is more important. Like, an idea behind the music. Like, I think Spotify sometimes does a good job with their pre-made playlists. Like, they'll have shit that's like, there's one that I listen to. It's just called Lava Lamp, and it's an ambient playlist, and it makes sense because when I fucking think
see,
about a lava lamp, I think about
of
this.
classic rock when I think about a lava,
Lava
lamp,
lamp,
to be
yeah.
honest with you. I don't know.
So do you think the Rolling Stones is the most overrated classic rock band?
Zeppelin is the most overrated classic rock. band.
I agree with you.
I agree too. We're gonna get so much hate from Jay about this.
Yeah,
That's
No,
okay.
Shivers, dude, are
no,
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 fans.
Apparently
Shivers
it
gonna be
doesn't.
so
apparently
mad.
it doesn't matter because everyone hates classic rock now anyway, which I didn't realize until I posed this question.
I would contend that I think Pink Floyd is not overrated.
Pink Floyd, I like Pink Floyd.
Misunderstood.
I think they got put on. They got the Looney Tunes treatment. They got put on a lot of T-shirts. People saw them
Yeah.
in the salvo, and then they decided that it wasn't
They,
cool
they
anymore.
got Bob Marley'd.
Yes.
is what
Yes.
happened to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of Pink Floyd still holds up today. Like, I'll listen to a whole album.
I'm pretty hot and cold with Pink Floyd. I think their early stuff is really cool and interesting, but I don't like it. But I appreciate it as like a British spin on experimental rock. Stuff like acid stuff that was going on here.
So what's like the biggest like hate that you got from this tweet that you sent out?
The attitude wasn't really hateful. It was more just I was caught off guard by the unanimity of the response of just like, it's boring and it sucks, and like everyone's saying that, and just
Well,
like,
like, what's
my
like the-
question was like, what's your most controversial opinion about it? And everyone just responded with the same opinion about it. Thus,
It's not very controversial.
Not controversial. at
Yeah,
all.
it's not a hot take if everybody
Apparently,
has it.
so it's in this weird state where everyone, it's about to be like, there's going to be like a meme about it next year, I'm sure, or
Yeah.
something, because like everyone agrees, but no one has articulated it
Yes.
collectively yet.
Yeah.
There's going to be a picture featuring a cat prominently that's going to say something about classic rock, and it's going to be, twisted and morphed.
Classic rock. That's what I call my old litter box turds that are
Exactly.
hard, like rocks are. And
so
old.
was that like the biggest thing? Like it's just boring.
Yeah, basically.
much.
Yeah, but I think it's also just there's time between this and that now, like so there's a generational disconnect between. And I think people are starting to think of it. It's been like, you talk about the Looney Tunes treatment or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like a lot of the dialogue about American music history has been mostly steered by like big overblown corporate interests, like Rolling Stone protecting its own relevancy by like continually reiterating
That they're the best.
pantheon of classic rock and like nothing will ever happen. And it's like, there's a lot of really interesting and valuable work that came out of that period. And I'm not going to downplay its importance in the history of recorded music or American pop culture, but it's like things kept going and there's so much stuff in the late 70s and 80s and 90s that just doesn't get covered because it's been sort of shoved to the side because it's always measured up against this other thing. And now there's a whole other generation of people who were raised online more than off.
Yeah.
Who are, more curatorial about what they listen to. And sort of their like year zero starts closer to like the mid 80s or 90s somewhere.
Right, exactly.
Well, it's, you got to keep in mind technology and the way that we consume music now compared to back then, where our father would stay up all night to listen to one song on the radio, where we could just listen to that right now.
Right. And it was Boston.
Just out of fucking. Well, you couldn't fucking do it on repeat. but-
Actually, most underrated classic rock band.
I like Boston.
Boston?
You can always tell a Boston song.
I have a YouTube video to show you. It's like
Okay.
I watched this. It's like an hour and a half long Boston concert from like Madison, from Giant Stadium, wherever it was. It was the Meadowlands. And was there one before that in the 70s?
I don't know.
Whatever the Giant
tell you.
Stadium
I
was,
was
at that
dead
time.
at that point.
I was in between states. Anyway, it kicks so much ass. It's like you. I can't even talk about it because it just makes me smile. Like the whole, it's at like 150% the whole time.
Well, I saw the Foo Fighters recently, and I'm not the biggest Foo Fighters fan in the world, but the show that they put on is like that. It's just they were 110 from start to finish.
Yeah.
Like the drummer was elevated at one point, and like
Right.
they played for like 4 fucking hours and did like 5 songs for their encore. It's like insane.
That's why I really resent that band isn't like amazing. Like they're like
They put a lot of
I have
effort.
feelings about Foo Fighters, and but like
I get the sentiment.
you know what I mean?
completely.
Like because I love Grohl so much.
Yeah.
he
Wait,
totally
he's an
gets
awesome
it.
dude.
Yeah.
He's like the last remaining sort of living iteration of like let's just rock the fuck out.
Yeah,
and that's all
yeah.
it's about. They could. I just wish they made better records.
Yeah. You like what you're saying is you like the spirit and the enthusiasm.
Well,
but-
the arena rock spirit is fucking cool, man.
It's because
Like,
it's simultaneously like a populist thing. You're obviously like it's a mass appeal, and
Yes.
so you get all this relational vibe going on. But at the same time, it's theater. It's like
Oh, yeah.
high art. It's,
Yeah.
it's a lot of choreography and coordination that goes into
Right.
it. It's like it's the best. That's why I love Van Halen so much. Van Halen is my favorite classic rock band because I feel like they had a huge mass appeal, and yet it's like they're a hair metal band.
yeah.
But you don't think they're not the first hair metal band that you think of. Somebody says hair metal, go.
Twisted
like,
Sister, I guess.
Strider,
Twisted Sister.
Warren,
Hell yeah, dude.
Twisted Sister, because of the I Love the '80s. So
I
your
think of
brain
Yeah,
is warped by all
exactly.
that.
D. Snyder, dude.
I think
I'm
of
see-
Poison. I always
Poison.
go right to Poison.
Okay, well
Yeah,
that's
probably
because
Poison.
you watch
Great,
Rock of
great
Love.
example.
That's why.
What
See,
are we all
VH1,
doing? Yeah.
VH1.
We all had the cable package that didn't have MTV2 in it.
Yeah.
So we watched VH1 a lot instead.
Dude, VH1 was a psyop by the fucking CIA. It brainwashed us into hating our parents so we could divide the nation, bro.
I think so. Well, because that's what irks me about the '90s formatting thing, because it's not about how it all musically or genre-wise fits together. It's just that like being oppositional to mainstream has become a commodified element all in itself, and it became that a long time ago, and now we're just sort of like tripping back
Living-
into it generation by generation.
Yeah.
And it's like I say this about online culture pretty frequently, is that it's sort of boring to me now, because it's like we just took all the shit that was going on in the late 90s and early 2000s and just all said it like 100,000 different ways, and it's like we're running out of ways to like do irony and postmodern like relational art things and commentary.
Yeah, there needs to be a paradigm shift. We need double memes.
Right.
We need memes to become within
Right.
themselves.
We need an entity whose mimetic structure becomes sentient.
Exactly.
A meme singularity.
Well, actually, that might not be a bad. No, that might be bad. I think that's actually the
would probably
plot of
be- it
a
would-
fucking Black Mirror
It'd
episode.
definitely be racist, I'll say.
Yeah. Well, that's like the fucking Google AI bot. It just immediately
it
became a
just
Nazi.
Became a fucking Nazi after like they turned it on for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go on YouTube and the same thing could happen to any of us.
It's true.
Jesus Christ.
It's
So-
still, I don't know what I did at some point in my life. All I watch on there is like old, like full album uploads of like Japanese fusion music. And like,
Okay.
that's all I do. And like synth gear demos and shit. And then I still get all these recommended videos of like, first it starts with just like the 10th hour hidden commandment, secret Illuminati in the White House, 4 question marks, Hollywood full of Satan.
You could title 99% of synth gear demos. Can you use this to make bad dance music?
The answer is yeah.
The answer is always yes.
Yeah. They should call them "You Can Use This," but then no one would click on it. We made bad dance music with this synth, and you won't believe how bad it is.
Doctors hate him.
This one weird trick.
Giorgio Moroder hates it. And then, so I still get recommendations for, I don't know, I must have done something bad years ago. I don't know. And so I get recommendations for these weird videos all the time about really off kilter, like cult shit and like paranoid people. And
It's a huge market.
but that's where that starts though. It's like you start watching those things, and then you get into sort of subtly into the like deep state stuff and the white nationalist stuff and the sort of global Jewish conspiracy thing and QAnon. It's all waiting for you there.
Yeah.
It's really.
What do you
it's
think
too
the
bad.
old
I
man
don't-
suggested videos look like?
QAnon.
It's probably a lot of Fox News.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of
Fox,
Fox
News.
News.
It must pay or something like that to get their
all the news
SEO.
stations. They make fucking bank on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
You know, a
And-
friend of mine actually just did a study about the algorithmic relationships of. I hate to cut you off. I just want to.
Oh, no, it's fine.
I want to plug it because it's so important, and I got called a soy boy for posting it by some
You
stranger
fucking hell yeah.
who went
Got
and
him.
found
I
my
would take that
Facebook
as a badge of fucking honor if I got
just-
called the soy boy.
Honestly, I was just like, "Are you?" I said to him, "Are you for real? Are you a real person?" Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But my friend did a study. Her name's Becca Lewis. She did this comprehensive work that was published on the Data Society website about the way that YouTube actually connects all these disparate, different strains of the sort of white nationalist disease thing, and how it actually functions on sort of an algorithm like data map set that they apparently maybe know about, maybe don't know about, maybe don't care, or whatever.
I did just read a thing about a heat map of YouTube that showed the connections between.
It's called Alternative Influence, I think is the title.
It
of
very
the
well could be the
article.
thing that I read about. But it showed how, like, I know that Tucker Carlson got all pissy.
Yeah,
Tucker
Ben
Carlson-
Shapiro got all
Yeah,
mad
Ben Shapiro
too,
got
yeah.
pissy because it showed how much they overlapped with like white nationalists. And
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, literally,
And it's like,
I-
dude, it's a fact.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
this is data. You're gonna get pissy about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally, if you want to take a weather vane to what the alt right is doing, you just watch Tucker Carlson.
Well, so it's like no wonder the Google AI bot got turned into a Nazi in an hour.
There's
and a
so
half.
much
It's
in
like-
there.
It's like it's
there
got all
for
these these logs of YouTube viewing preferences. It just as soon as it segues into YouTube and it just starts clicking by trying to learn just through clicks, it's like that's what it's going to stumble across. There's like literally no safeguard against it.
Unrestricted data.
Can you make bad dance music with this video of our deep state source proving that Pizzagate is real?
Doctors hate him.
All right.
What was that? What was that topic?
Classic rock.
I like how rambly we are today. It's
Yeah,
pretty
no.
good. Good conversation went on.
A lot of classic rock on YouTube too. Actually, lots of stuff you can't find on no dang Spotify because
They don't trust the government.
Yeah.
They watch too many QAnon videos.
That's right.
Now Motley Crue won't let you listen to their shit.
Doctors
Oh
hate
man,
them.
I bet all those guys are super.
They probably are like, full tinfoil hat or something like
well,
that. Too
because
much.
I think music people are super like embittered by having to deal with like years of not really making any money
Yeah.
from doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
They're just all libertarian morons now.
And on that note, we're moving on now to topic number 3. All right, topic number 3. So I
Have a big piece of paper with a
have
bunch
a
of
big
words
piece
on
of paper with
After
a
all
lot
that
of words on
conspiracy
it.
theory talk,
After
he
a
whips
lot of-
out this piece
All
of
right,
paper.
I'm gonna go to sleep for 45 minutes.
it. Pulls out a fucking whiteboard.
Interesting segue.
Funny you should
Deep
mention
state,
that.
you say?
The deep state, you say? Well, actually, I'm surprised I haven't seen a take about this on Fox News. I saw a movie recently.
What'd you say?
I saw it with Olivia's family.
What's up?
As you may know, Olivia's family is British. As you may know, Winnie the Pooh is British.
He is.
As you may know, I'm a big fucking fan of Pooh.
Yeah,
Pooh boy since day one.
right.
How you feel about Pooh?
Big Pooh fan.
Big Pooh fan.
Yeah.
I think we're all big Pooh fans.
You a big Pooh fan, Chris?
Now, you used to have to make fun of you about it because you're my little brother.
I love a good Pooh movie.
Did you watch? Okay, so here's...
2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah. So...
Immediately just get a flash of like the music from it.
I don't remember the music
do you remember the music?
Yeah,
of
it's
it?
like fucking
it's AC/DC, right?
Back in Black. I was thinking Back in Black.
Thundercook.
There's got to be somebody named Thundercook out there.
Absolutely,
Thundercook. Wow,
100%,
that's-
100%.
That word radiates powerful energy.
So
Change my Twitter handle tonight.
My God.
So I saw the movie Christopher Robin.
A great,
which,
great movie. I saw
Did you
it
see
too.
it? It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
great.
We're gonna have a lot to. Yeah.
Okay, so that movie is basically Chris. You didn't see it.
I have
right?
not seen it,
So
no.
it's basically Hook, but for Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
It's basically Christopher Robin gets older. He meets back up with his childhood friends, Pooh, and then hilarity ensues.
I was thinking it was like Shrek 4 of the Winnie the Pooh franchise.
I never saw Shrek 4.
Shrek 4 is basically they like hijinks ensue wherein they strip away all of the plot of the last 3 movies.
Oh, and he has to like
And he
they
had-
forget who he is,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. No, Donkey doesn't know who he is. Fiona doesn't know who he is. There's a whole, and it's like the laziest form of sequel writing
Yeah,
ever. Definitely
because you're
LA
just
cocaine party stuff.
Okay, so I wrote. I
There's
realized
a lot of fucking words.
there's a
on that
lot of
paper.
words. Don't be afraid.
Sure.
You'll have plenty of time.
Can you explain the format of how we're supposed to? You're
Yeah,
going to
so
read portions of
I'm gonna
it?
read portions of this, and then you guys can comment, or you can interrupt me and call me a cuck or whatever you guys got to do. You know, just keep
Just saying
No-
we're at
no
47
promises.
minutes already.
Okay, we're at 47 minutes. Here we go. So this is my socialist interpretation of the Christopher Robin movie,
Jesus Lord.
because it does have some serious overtones against capitalism, which is interesting. Okay, so the movie opens with Christopher Robin as a child on his last day at the 100-acre wood before he goes off to his boarding school. He tells Pooh he'll never forget him, not until he's 100 years old, which he believes is an achievable age because of the socialist health care in his country under NHS.
Yep. I recently got a medical bill for a 3-hour trip to the emergency room. $1,200.
You're making it to 80, if you're lucky. Christopher Robin goes to boarding school and has his imagination and sense of joy beaten out of him by the fascist machinations of the British school system, as evidenced by a
Do
teacher's
you work during the week?
I know a great song about that by a little group called
Pink Floyd. We don't need no. As evidenced by a teacher slamming her long pointing teacher stick on his desk when he draws Pooh on his
I
notebook.
hate the teacher stick.
No bears! Now learn the royal airs, she screams at the child.
Thank you, Mikey, for coming back from the first segment.
Yada yada.
We're gonna send you to Scotland if you keep doodling on your schoolwork.
Sorry.
Just unplug
I'll let
myself.
you get a
It's
full
okay.
paragraph.
Yada yada, he grows up, meets Evelyn, enlists in World War II, and leaves his pregnant wife at home. He comes...
Is it World War One or Two?
I think it's World War II. I don't know.
I don't
The
know.
real A.A. Milne actually fought in World War One.
Yeah.
And that's
what
why he
had-
made Pooh.
Right.
And actually, the movie Goodbye, Christopher Robin is fucking pretty heart touching because of that. He fucks up his kid's life. Anyway,
Like his kid was Christopher Robin, right?
Yeah, and he just
Yeah.
ruined the kid's life. And then he goes off and fights in World War II, and then he, I don't know if he dies. I can't remember. You'll find out.
I'm not going to watch that movie. I'll look it up later, though, so maybe.
He comes back injured from the war, both mentally and physically, to find that his wife and now adolescent daughter are waiting for him at the same train station they left him at years ago. Christopher Robin becomes the manager of an efficiency department of a luggage company that is itself part of a larger conglomerate company owned by Old Man Winslow, which is his actual name in the credits. Winslow's son, Giles, meets with Christopher Robin and tells him because of the post-war malaise and economic hardships
I don't
in
like
England.
his name, Giles.
Giles, yeah, it's
I don't like
well,
the
it's
name.
you're supposed to hate him. Don't worry.
Alright, cool.
He's the guy who plays Sherlock's brother on the Netflix show or not BBC show.
What?
Sherlock?
Sherlock?
On Sherlock.
I haven't watched Sherlock.
Okay, well, you're missing out. Long episodes.
He's a detective, and he's British. You
He
see.
did a lot of cocaine, right?
They allude to it.
Yeah, the
kinda.
show stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, gotcha.
Oliver Isaac?
I like Oliver Isaac a lot, actually.
I like his
actor.
dances.
I'll watch that show.
Okay, so Giles meets with Christopher Robin and tells him that because of the post-war malaise and economic hardships in England, no one is buying luggage to go on holiday, which is the word that British people and lead singer of Green Day use for vacation. On holiday. He has no right to use that word. Giles offers Christopher Robin two options. Either he finds a way to reduce costs by 20%, or the entire company will be shut down by the coming Monday.
Wow,
Wait, wait, wait.
spoilers, dude.
Wait. Christopher
Oh,
Robin
there's
selling
spoiler.
luggage?
Christopher Robin is working in the efficiency department of a luggage company that is itself owned by a larger conglomerate company.
It's like a fucking Monty Python sketch.
Christ. And they're all at the train station?
Nope.
What you mention?
He went to World War II. He came back at a train station. British people love trains.
Gotcha. Okay. Heard.
Okay, so he has to basically work over the weekend to ensure that his department doesn't get shut
And
down.
his wife gets so mad at him.
Yes, she does.
Like, so mad.
So they basically have like a weekend trip planned. Okay.
Like, so mad that you're like, how are you how is a children's book involved in this? Like, she's so angry.
Well, she definitely wants to leave him. Like this is on like the last straw territory.
Our producer has left.
So the reason why they're going on holiday is
He's doing a
because
colon cleanse.
You have no right to use that word.
that's true. Good point. I'm appropriating. Well, I am dating a British woman. But okay, so the reason why they're going to the cabin is because his daughter Madeline is being sent away to boarding school.
Some of my best friends are British. Like, what the fuck was that? Oh, my girlfriend.
Like, well, I'm surrounded by people with.
Well, I grew up
British
around
fucking-
British people, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
well, we're a British colony, so it's like,
It's true.
yeah.
It's
True.
true.
We don't live in New England. Okay, so
Is New York New England?
Thank God.
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No,
we're
it's New
Yankees,
York.
baby.
Yeah,
New
it's
York.
its own weird, bizarre place.
Okay, so Christopher Robin is now in a late stage capitalism catch-22. He can either work to save the livelihood of his fellow laborers and alienate his family, or he can abandon his comrades and attempt to rescue the ever-diminishing relationship that his only family that he seems to have after this post-war capitalist hellhole he has left. Okay?
So he can either save his marriage
Or
save his job.
Save his job and the jobs of other people.
And in an extreme case of psychotic break that he experiences while trying to solve this issue, Winnie the Pooh himself emerges from a tree in the front lot outside of his flat. Right?
Exactly.
Did I get that
There you
right?
go.
Yeah,
There you
okay.
go.
You
You're
grew up
catching
with
on.
And basically,
He grew up watching Winnie the Pooh.
yeah, I read all the Harry Potter books. It's fine.
He loves Monty Python.
And Winnie the Pooh basically taunts him with these infuriating Zen aphorisms.
Yes, exactly.
Until he gets pissed off enough to follow him back down this tree, which reveals them to be in the 100-acre wood, which is now dark and desolate and abandoned, bereft by the threat of outside huffalumps and woozles. Right.
Okay, and that is obviously a metaphor for middle America or any lower income people being pushed into racism and prejudice by the threat of other people, which is obviously what the Heffalumps and Woozles represent.
What was this movie rated?
G.
The heffalumps and woozles represent your fears and insecurities, so I'm gonna co-sign that metaphor. If you're doing a socialist economic interpretation of the Christopher Robin movie, I think you're on track.
All right. Okay, so basically his family goes away for the weekend. I'm going off script here, guys. I'm giving myself permission to do this now.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, Pooh, he gives these little aphorisms. They go back to the 100-acre wood. Basically, none of his friends at the 100-acre wood recognize him because he's a shell of a man that he used to be. And they're like, that's not Christopher Robin. He's a fucking heffalump.
He's a man, too.
Yes, he's a full-grown man.
He's not no longer a 10-year-old child.
He's fucking, what's his name? Ewan McGregor.
Right.
What? Ewan McGregor's in it?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
This could be a sequel to the first Trainspotting movie.
It's part of the Star Wars universe. Since Disney owns both properties.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually
Oh, that makes
Obi-Wan
sense.
Kenobi, after he dies, he gets
crossover.
reborn in mid-war Britain.
To right the wrongs.
Yeah. To fix the
Jesus
wrongs
Christ.
committed by goodbye Christopher Robin.
So on the way back to his cabin is in Suffolk, and so on his way back over to Suffolk, Pooh notably acquires a red balloon, and right before commenting that the man selling tickets in the kiosk is in a cage. "Da, Comrade Pooh, aren't we all in cages?" But he does do this shit the whole time. Where he's like, "Why do you want to work, Christopher Robin?" And Christopher Robin's like, "Well, fuck you, Pooh. I got to make a living." And he's like, "Christopher Robin, why don't you live in the moment?"
See, here's where you're going to lose me, though, because communism is very work intensive.
That's true.
Abolishing work is an anarchist platform.
Yeah.
Or an anarcho-collectivist platform. Whereas I feel like Winnie the Pooh, if he were really trying to spread socialist propaganda, would be like, "Why don't you murder all these people, Christopher Robin? Rise up, workers. You have nothing to lose but your chains."
The wonderful thing about Tiggerth is Tiggerth can kill your ass. Tiggerth will meet you at the barricade.
Tigger's in this too?
Fuck, are you fucking kidding me?
They're all
Are you
in it.
asking if Tigger's in this movie?
They're all in it. T.I. double gut or my
Bitch.
number one dude.
Okay, let's see. So basically, he ends up. So he goes to the 100-acre wood, saves all the people there. They're just afraid of a weather vane or something. Then he has to go back to London.
Is
to
this
get
the
his,
fucking Wikipedia article? What happens? What is going on here?
What's going on?
What's the result of all this?
I just
Don't
wrote about-
spoil the whole movie, first of all.
Oh, you don't want to?
No, they need to watch it. It's great. It's good.
Okay. Well, that really ruins the interpretation.
Oh, I see. This is
Because the ending is important.
right,
He ends up getting workers' rights.
right. Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily a spoiler of the plot resolution.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll allow it. For
Thank
now.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thanks
So
for
yeah.
having me, everybody. B-Side Fest, October 11th, 12th, and 13th in Albany, New York.
Yeah, so basically what the whole movie, I just think it's interesting because where it differs from Hook, where Hook is about him just fucking finding his imagination again, stop being a douchebag. Christopher Robin is like, he's wasting his life working too hard, not spending time with his family. And then he ends up coming back and solving that by basically telling his bosses that they should give him more vacation and pay and more pay.
I'm going to refute your point by using some classic postmodernist reversal theory.
Okay.
I would argue that the point of Hook is actually congruent with 90s and 2000s relaxation of workplace restrictions and the embracing of a fun workplace, or the respecting of workers' rights, so that the boss is your friend. The theme there is that Robin Williams has to re-embrace his inner child in order to engage with that creativity that then allows him to succeed in the capitalist structure that he's become a large hotshot executive in, right?
Right.
So actually working against those things helps him actually achieve those goals even better.
Right.
Now, in an even more cynical time, when we jump forward into this time period, we're in 2018 with Christopher Robin, we've gotten so used to this trope of
You gotta
learn
to love your life.
I mean, this is a movie that one of the world's biggest media conglomerates.
Yes,
has
exactly. It's from Walt
released
Disney.
based on a property that they've owned for like 80 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the moral of the story is actually similar to Hook in that you have to acknowledge the limitations of your world in order to succeed within them. You have to have leisure time in order to be a more productive citizen of the capitalist society. You need to take your time to go to Disneyland. And to please your kids who are just consumerist bloodsuckers that they have the huge spending power based on your dime.
It's true.
Abolish kids. That's my new political platform.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what I enjoyed a lot about that movie was that at the end of it's one of those things where a lot of these movies, when they try to make these big sweeping points that are supposed to be meaningful, don't actually deliver on it. Because at the end of the day, he's still supposed to be like some minimal manager that like saves his company by finding the zero that he needs to move, and it still moves forward instead of being like because fucking Giles, the son, he's supposed to work on the project over the weekend as well. But he doesn't, and he just ends up going golfing. And the only repercussion is that they call him a woozle, and that's it at the end. So I think that it's really interesting the way that they did it, because it's one of those things where it's almost like what you were saying earlier with commodifying like the alternative music, right? You're commodifying a B culture and turning it into a market, whereas this it's doing the same thing, where you're taking this idea that you just need to relax and you just need to push against that particular idea, but that is then being packaged and sold to you again. Trick the hippies. That's what you got to do. Sell beads to them. Ain't that right, Chris?
Yeah, guys. Ooh. Well, it sounded like a good movie. How was
It's better
was
than
was it
Shrek 4.
was it CGI or like was
Yeah, it was
it
CG.
looked great.
They had
was it good CGI? Any practical effects at all or no?
I don't know, because they've gotten so good at integrating those these days. Without, they just kind of polish it over with a little extra CGI
I wish that
dust.
they had spruced up the Pooh a little bit, because they made him look like old.
Can't polish a poo, man.
Can't polish a Pooh.
Well, he looks more like an actual
Bear,
stuffed animal
yeah,
that's
stuffed animal.
been living in the woods for 30 years.
It's a fucking revolutionary, just like waiting in the woods for like his
It's
fucking
the
Yeah, he's a
puppet.
fucking-
Right,
yeah, he's a
exactly, yeah.
gorilla.
He's
Armed
he's
and
grooming
dangerous.
he's grooming this fucking guy to come take his
Right.
Exactly. And I mean, I
his
think,
agenda forward, I guess.
and that's what Pooh was. It was to call us to arms,
Oh, okay.
but it didn't work.
No.
Rise up, workers of the world.
Buy Disney stock. I mean, honestly, probably should have. They
Yeah, no.
they're
definitely.
buying everything. It seems like they're going to be very profitable.
I think one of the saddest things I've seen was a poster where it was it was one character handing another character a lightsaber, and it was handing off the highest grossing movie of all time to another Disney movie.
Right,
Like
yeah.
fucking hell.
Apparently, that is a tradition that movie producers do. Different production houses will send a commemorative illustration of when they have to succeed their top posts. They send a thing that literally like draws out how a character from one movie handing over the scepter or whatever.
That-
you can look it up. There's lists of them.
That would be cool if it wasn't Disney handing it to Disney.
Well, true, yeah,
You
but it has a longer standing thing rooted in occult mysticism and
Is that what it is?
wider globalist conspiracy.
Gnostic
Yeah.
tradition. Dude, QAnon, got to get to the bottom of it.
Q,
Q, where you at?
It's gone now. We got
Is he
taken
gone
off-
now?
Yeah,
like Cuckanon.
Cuckanon, dude. It's JFK Jr. He's not dead, and his grave is a Q or something.
Oh my lord,
That's a theory on it.
his grave is a Q.
I guess so. That's
Why?
what-
I just feel like no one in real life would actually give any clues as to, you know what I mean? Like, do people
No,
do that?
you
That's-
saw-
That's
did you
always
see
the best
National
part of every
Treasure or-
conspiracy theory is that why, if you were doing the conspiracy, would you leave
Right.
like clues in the $1 bill and and all this shit? Why wouldn't you just not tell anybody?
Did you also hear that somebody went and proved that it's mathematically impossible to sustain a conspiracy theory based on the number of people that would actually need to not ever talk about it?
Oh, you're saying like the details won't come out?
Right. That
Interesting.
there's too many people would have to actually know that it was a thing versus how many, like the likelihood of once you hit a certain number of people, the likelihood is like 100% certain that it would leak. And it's like many times that number of people that would have to effectively sustain a conspiracy at the governmental level.
I mean, that's why mob bosses kill everybody. You know?
Right. Better safe than sorry. But that's public knowledge.
Of course. And on that note,
Yeah, folks, if you're listening, thanks for listening. Dan, thanks for coming on again,
You're very
man.
welcome.
Appreciate it. You can get an audio book like we talked about. And Dan,
Get your audiobook of Train Spotting today.
you get Train Spotting.
As read by Ewan McGregor.
That's actually got to
And B-Side Fest, Albany, New York, October 11, 12, 13. Ask a punk, ask somebody with a weird haircut. It's at houses. It's because we don't have a real venue to do stuff in.
yeah. Well, you got like
for
the
3 days at a
Chateau,
time. It's at
Rice
Chateau,
House.
Rice House, and Orange Peel.
Orange Peel. That's the old tree house, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So if
Over by-
anybody listening to this knows what those things mean,
You're in the club.
You're
Welcome
in-
to
yes.
QAnon.
Or you can go
Yes.
to the Facebook page, yeah?
there is a Facebook event that is B as in Bumblebee, side as in part of a geometric shape, fest as in what it is, and then an exclamation point. So B-Side Fest, exclamation point.
Cool.
Thanks, everybody. Oh, we got to come up with a hashtag.
Yeah,
It
hashtag
was Mushmouth Andy, right?
Mushmouth Andy.
Mushmouth Andy. Or hashtag Marlon Brando.
Just why? Just because he's a mushmouth?
It's a Mushmouth.
Hashtag Pooh is a Maoist.
Thanks, folks, and be nice to each other, right?
Everyone I know.